I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. Come on in, everybody. Welcome to the channel. We are here to do a review for LAMH Huntsville. This is season 10, episode 4. I hope y'all had a chance to watch it, y'all, because it was a hot ass mess. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, I need every single one of y'all, come on in. Tell me where you are from. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I want to make sure that you can hear me. So put your city, your state, your country, your island, wherever you are from, into the chat, please, and thank you. What is up? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Nice to have you. So that we can get started on the show. Come on in, y'all. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the chat. What's up, DMV? Nice to have you. Nice to have you. I got to make sure that y'all are here and that you can hear me now. Come on in. Come on in. What is up? Happy Sunday to you too, Priscilla. Welcome to the chat. What's up, Memphis? Nice to have you. Come on in. What's up, Historian? Nice to have you. The Show Me State. What's up, Austin, Texas? Nice to have you. Woo. Hold on one second, child. I got one thing I need to get done, but y'all keep hitting the like button and telling me where you are from, okay? Okay. What's up? What's up, everybody? Anyway, listen. This was actually an interesting show. I know y'all saw my thumbnail a little earlier where I asked the question, am I as pathetic as I sound? And his mama said yes. Or she should have said yes, because they were talking in code. Child, to me, anyway, this could not happen. This could not happen for a lot of people. Martell has gone from being the cocky Negro that everybody wanted to know because he drove a certain car, had a certain amount of money, looked like he lived a certain lifestyle. He's gone from that to the pathetic Negro, okay? His entire demeanor is pathetic, like seriously. Come on in, Lies and More Lies. Nice to have you. Welcome to the channel. And it's sad, to be honest, that he is still having the same conversation episode after episode, but we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Let me put my banner up real quick. Tisha is embarrassing herself. Marlene looks well. The family backup took a toll on his mother. The family backup took a toll on his mother. What do you mean by that? Marty is sad. Come on in, everyone. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. I don't know what happened to my banner. Anyway, hold on. I got to get up my stuff. Just in case, child, because we're going to talk about everything. But y'all come on in. Welcome to the chat, Supreme Team. Martell, absolutely no accountability. Well, y'all know it's been a minute since they've divorced, right? But you would expect just a different conversation coming from Martell. And it's unfortunate that he has not figured that out yet. It's like he's on a hamster wheel. He is just running the same old conversation. And that's unfortunate for him. It really is, because he should be in a better place by now, child, but he is not. Okay, sorry about that. Come on in, everybody. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? What's up, everyone? Come on in, come on in. Hey, Clone in the house. Nice to have you. What's up, Kevin Reynolds? Nice to have you. Okay, y'all. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. What's up, Miami? Nice to have you. Okay, right. Same old bullshit. But we're about to get into it because I'm going to tell y'all. When I was watching it, I was like, I don't know if Miss Marlene is holding back or what, but she's going to have to get her pimp hand in the game if she wants to get her son off that hamster wheel. Okay, because he's on one, period. And it's not about him being skittish anymore. It's about something else. And you're going to have to call a thing if you want this man to move on. Okay, at some point you have to understand, and I would guess if this is anybody who's a parent or you have somebody that you love in your life, when you see them keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, you just want them to get to a place where they can make a move. You know what I'm saying? He's a hit rock bottom. Make a move. He's not coming up or he's coming out of something. That's old, okay? He has 5 mouths to feed. So that conversation that he had with Marlene was a lie, okay? A shame, a lie. It should not have happened. And we're going to talk about what went down, okay? What's up, Chronic? Anybody that you see with a purple wrench behind their name, like Chronic or Clone in the House, they are here volunteering their time, okay? They are here volunteering their time to make sure that you guys have a good time. So hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button, share the video, please and thank you. And then we can get it started. All right. So y'all, I'm an old school person. I like to write my notes. Is how it helps me retain, the information, and also paints a picture for me. So if you hear paper, that's what you're going to hear, me turning these pages. All right. But outside of that, come on in. And as I see comments, I will put you up on the screen and we'll get things, started. Let me take Marlene and Martell down because it's getting on my nerves, these two right now. Marlene's facial expression said it all. There was a lot going on. I ain't gonna lie. There definitely was a lot going on. But yeah, so it opens where it left off with Maurice and Marcel. Y'all know they were getting back and forth, having a back and forth about Jalen specifically. And in this scene, we find out pretty much what we had before, but even Marcel was saying to him, dude, if Kimmy, your wife, is telling you that you treated Jalen differently, if Jalen said it from his own mouth, that you treated him differently. And I'm telling you that you treated him differently. Why are you always trying to make an excuse, right? Because Maurice was given a ready-made excuse for every damn thing, okay? He said, at the end of the day, Monster is the golden child, just like you were the golden child when we were all kids. And this is kind of pissing Maurice off. Maybe he wants Marceau to be on his team. He calls him a liar and some other shit. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. But he's saying it. And at one point, Kimmy makes a face like, what are you talking about? Because he's like, it's not like I didn't love him the same. It was love. It was love. Kimmy actually looks at her husband. She's sitting right beside him. And she does one of these looks. And I was like, Kimmy, that's the same look that's the same look all of us was giving to you when this entire scene happened. Remember when Nene Leakes said, call me when you get your damn mind back. It was one of those moments, okay? But Kimmy is staring at her husband like, are you not listening to your brother? In confessional, Kimmy says, you know, I've been telling him this over the years, and he's pretty much blown me off. He's had a ready-made excuse for anything that I said this man was doing to my son. However, every once in a while, someone else will come in and say exactly what I said to him, and it will kind of help move things along. She said, at the end of the day, Maurice really respects his brother's opinion of him. And the whole time she's saying this, I'm like, Kimmy, your son is a grown man right now. Like, if Maurice tried the shit that he tried when he was a child, he could just knock his ass out. He doesn't have to take any of that stuff anymore. But it was real interesting how they were all just at the table saying things. When it was, you know, toward the end of this conversation, Marceau says to Maurice, listen, eat the meat, throw out the bones. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what I'm saying, eat the meat and throw out the bones. But right now, you are throwing away the whole damn plate. Like, at some point, you're going to have to, you know, take what we're saying to heart. This is Jalen, right? If you love him, you're going to do what it takes to show him you love him. It was crazy. Maurice definitely feeling some type of way, trying not to show it, but it was on his face. I agree with that, Priscilla. I said the same thing. I said, you could tell that this was really getting to Maurice. Now, I do know Marceau said that they usually try to talk to each other before they go into a scene, but I think that they gave Maurice more than what he was expecting, personally. Can y'all still hear me? Because I'm getting that people still can't hear me. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Hey, Miss Tina, welcome to the chat, girl. Thank you. You can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay, so it basically ends like that. Just Marceau telling him, you got to get your shit together. At the end of the day, if you're not willing to accept what we're telling you, it is what it is. Maurice, you're a grown-ass man. You know what we're saying is true. And Jalen's even told you this. So what do you want to happen? What would you like to happen from here? Okay, so in the next scene, we are at Trisha's, I should just say Trisha and Ken's. They went to a photo shoot, child, and it was a mess. I hate they continue to make it appear like the Scotts are so profound because they are calculated. They definitely discuss what they will and will not do before they go into it. Yes, 1000% true for every single person on that show, whether they're on it now or they were on it before. 1000% true. Everybody on Love and Marriage Huntsville rehearses their scenes first. That's how there is to it. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of rehearsed scenes, but it is what it is. Come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so now they are at the birthday party, professional photo shoot, 38th birthday, and baby, this really wasn't that big of a deal. It was a fluff scene. What we know is that it's Trisha's 38th birthday. She says something like she's calling it her 38th special cowboy theme. Ken and Trisha, you can tell they trying to, you know, make it seem like they are over the Marquez hump. Ken says something like, I'm tired of the drama to Trisha. I'm tired of the drama. I would like for 38 years old for you, 38 years for me. I want this shit to be drama free. This divorce is almost over. There's no reason why Marquez have to be a part of anything we got going on moving forward. This is what he says to Trisha. There's no reason for it. I don't want to hear this nigga's name anymore. Let's let it be, okay? And they take their pictures. Trisha was just nodding her head. Yes, that was it, okay? Not a whole lot going on. In the next scene, we get Maurice and Marceau. They meet up with Jalen for lunch, okay? Or something. And this is where Maurice is going to tell Jalen, come on in, everybody. Welcome to the chat. This is where Maurice is going to tell Jalen, I was truly hoping that you would tell me I didn't treat you different. That's what it felt like. But they come in, they sit down with Jalen. They talk a little bit about this business that Maurice has and that he wants Jalen to work in. And Jalen says point blank, you run your business the way you run the house. Your house. You're first, mom is second, monster's third, and I'm fourth. And I'm not doing that. Not where I am in life right now. I'm not doing that. And Maurice says, why would you think you're fourth? What I am point blank telling you. I am telling you that you're before monster. And he said, that's just not anything you've ever showed me. So I can't trust it. Okay. That's when Marceau chimes in and said, if I can speak for Jalen, there is a double standard when it comes to Jalen and Monster. Maurice looks into Jalen's eyes and said, is that really how you feel? And Jalen hesitated for a good 5 seconds and said, yeah, that's how I feel. And I was like, damn, even as a grown man, you can just tell that he's still, that's how things play out. The older you get, if you don't work that shit out, you will always be that 2-year-old, that 12-year-old, that 13-year-old. And that's how he speaks it. He's like, yeah, I still feel like I'll be in the shadow. I don't think that you trust me even now as a grown man who's out here doing his own thing. So Maurice actually apologizes for the first time to Jalen. He says, I apologize that I ever made you feel that way. I apologize that you feel like I didn't love you the same or that I didn't love you like you were my son. I love you. I love you. So he finally gets it out. And Jalen nods his head. He said, is there anything that I can do? Jalen said, you can buy me a Lambo. How about that? Will that be the same? And he says, no. Okay, regression is real. Girl. Okay. And my sister and I come from it's just she and I with our mother. But my mother was one of 11. So that's a huge family. And I cannot tell you, every family get together, someone would have that regression moment where it was like, oh, he's 45, but he's damn sure acting like he's 11. And that one's acting like she's 10. That happened all the time. Diana, is this considered the fourth wall, meaning by bringing Jalen back on the show to have a storyline? I don't think so. I don't think it's the fourth wall. I mean, everything that they do, whether it's a storyline. I mean, think about cameras being in your house right now. What would you feed the camera? What would you feed the camera? So I think at the end of the day, it's probably true family dynamics, but people will take stories that happen in their lives from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and bring them to the show because they are things that truly happened and they're trying to work it out. That's normal to do. But anyway, after Maurice apologizes, he says, I know that you got job opportunities that you're looking into. You're trying to be, cybersecurity, in tech field, but, are you considering possibly coming to work for me? And Jalen said, interesting that you say that because that job that I was looking for over there in Denver, I'm going to be there at the end of the month. I accept it. At the end of the month, I'm moving forward. So, Oh, is that what you meant? Okay, yeah, the fourth wall is when someone, I don't know if you watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, but there's a situation where Portia looks at her producer and say, "Can I break the fourth wall?" And they said, "Go for it." And she said, "My producer told me that you are trying to film with Dennis." Apparently, they went to Portia's producer and asked her if it was okay. And she said, "My producer told me you tried to film with Dennis." That was breaking the fourth wall because she's literally asking the camera people about something that happened off screen. So, um, anyway, what did I say? He lets them know that he's moving on, that he's going at the end of the month, and it is what it is. You was wondering if it was the same when it was mentioned with Dennis. Yeah. So what it is just basically saying things like, "Remember when we filmed?" Basically making it seem like they're not filming. You're letting someone inside the fact that it might not have been a moment that was filmed. You're supposed to always talk like it's a natural or normal thing. But there's a bunch of people saying cut every 5 seconds. I noticed that Martell is talking about coleslaw more and more almost in every episode. We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway, next scene is Nell and Trisha. This episode actually, I would say, was a little more slow going than normal than what we had last episode. Probably like I'm gonna give it about a 7 or 8. But Nell and Trisha. Trisha comes to Nell's daycare to invite her to her birthday party. She's having this cowboy themed birthday party. She lets Nell know that everybody's invited except for Martell and Marquez. She said, "Martell can't go nowhere where I'm at." Interesting. And then she said, "Marquez know better than to do another pop in like he did last time. It's going to be curtains for him." Okay. But Nell says that she has an interest in talking to Kimmy and Trisha about not being transparent, is how she puts it. Nell said that Tisha is a bit of a hypocrite. If I said Trisha, my bad. Nell wants to talk to Trisha about Tisha and Kimmy being a hypocrite, is how she puts it. Nell says that Tisha doesn't want to talk about anything she has going on with her husband. And also, she didn't believe her or Kimmy when they made the comment that they didn't watch that interview Martell did with that lady claiming to be a mistress. Okay. So after she says that, Trisha says, well, maybe there's a chance she just don't want to talk about it. Okay. Maybe she's guarded about her relationship and she doesn't want to talk about it. Why is this such a big deal? And Nell said, because it's not believable. Okay. And Trisha said, well, you got a point, because I know that if it was you or me who had a situation like that with Chris and Ken, we would have been all over their ass. Okay. For whatever reason, Kimmy and Tisha may be holding back a little bit when it comes to this video or whatever they had going on with Martell. To be honest, what we are now seeing with Kimmy, Maurice, and Jalen storyline should have been explained many seasons ago versus now. At this point, it's only being discussed because Mel is no longer a cast. Thank God, right? I mean, what do you want else to be discussed? Their family is what should be discussed. But a lot of people don't have these conversations when the kids are kids. They have them. This is a chance for the child to come back and explain it. We already knew that Kimmy was, basically a slave in that household. That's what it looked like. Take care of things and don't talk unless being talking to. But to have the son come out and say, listen, in your house, it's you come first, then my mama, maybe, then my monster, then me. I mean, Kimmy couldn't have said that. That needs to come from Jalen. That needs to come from Jalen. But anyway, that's how she puts it. In my head, I was thinking, Nell Fletcher might be going at this transparency thing a little bit too hard. At the end of the day, Nell Fletcher is working in that daycare all day, every day, right? She's sitting at that seat taking lunch or dinner at her countertops while her husband is kind of in the streets. Even if he is doing real estate or at the barber shop or at the gym 4 or 5 times a week, because that man is active at keeping the muscles big. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I would think your interest would be on what the hell Chris has going on. That's a man you got to keep up with. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got to call him all day, text him all day, make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. I would have rather her said, listen, I know Tisha lying because I know what I have to do to keep up with Chris. Say that, because Chris is literally in the streets. For real, for real. But anyway, she is pushing these buttons about Marceau. And I don't know. It looks like the ass whipping that might get handed to Nell Fletcher, whatever's coming for her, it might be deserved. Nell Fletcher's doing too much at this point. Anyway, now we are at the scene with Martell and his mama. Okay? Even though this scene got on my nerves, I want to say it was one of the best scenes of the episode. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Because Martell, if nobody knew it before, Martell is on a hamster's wheel. Every day he wake up, it is Groundhog's Day. It's the same exact day every day of the week. His mind is recycling whatever this garbage is. And even though they want us to think that Martell has moved on, every time Martell has opened his mouth, he's been on 3 of the 4 episodes. Every time Martell has opened his mouth, he's let us know that he hasn't moved on. Okay? He hasn't moved on. So Martell comes into this breakfast place, and the first thing he does is lie like a rug. Okay, he tries to order a drink for his mama, Coca-Cola. I'm assuming it's morning time. Why is your mama drinking Coca-Cola first thing in the morning? She's going to be on a damn dialysis machine in the next month or two. Martell, get your shit together. But he comes in, and in his confessional, this is what this man says: I talk to my mama every single day. She's a good person, thoughtful, loving. Then he says, I couldn't ask for a better mama than the one I got. Now, everybody knows, at least I do, Martell had been talking bad about his mama in interviews and on that damn show. He literally sits down with the counselor or the therapist and says, I don't know what's going on because me and my mama have these horrible fucking fights. I asked her to watch the kids and she required something in return. That is how it's always been my entire life. We have a transactional relationship. I'm not even sure if she loves me. My brother can do anything and she won't say shit to him. But let it be me. She is trying to take my damn head off. Martell said that on Tasha K. He said it on the show, okay? And he said it some other times too. I think when they were out there on the yacht, Martell was yapping and dapping, and it sounds like he was blaming his mama. Now, when he was in therapy, the therapist said, well, you're older now. And even though I understand you and your mama might have some problems, you got to take responsibility for you, okay? Now, that's how she put it. Did y'all hear that? That's how the scene opens. So he's doing for his mama exactly what he did for Ariane. Oh, she's a good girl. Oh, she acts right. I'm going to give her this ring. I called her a peasant, but I shouldn't have done that. That was wrong of me. She's a good mama. She's a good this. He did the exact same thing. So clearly his mama said, I ain't filming with you unless you get your mouth right about me. Okay? Some of the shit you've said on that show, I don't appreciate it. I saw you, Miss Marlene. I know what happened there. Child, you ain't fooling nobody. Now, I did cringe a little bit because I was like, Martell, did you not tell us? Did you not tell us something completely opposite? Girl. Hold on now. I ain't saying, let me get this right. I'm not saying that his mama didn't do the best she can at all. What I'm saying is how he talked about his mother in the past was not how he handled it in the first 3 minutes of the scene. In the first 3 minutes of the scene, he walked the shit back that he said in the past. Okay? Period. He absolutely did. And then he sits down, and it looks like he is having like he usually does, rehearsed conversation. Okay. And this time he didn't yell at his mama and say, "Why'd you say that?" Or "Why'd you do that?" like he usually does. He starts off by saying, "Yeah, so I moved." Look, okay, things change. Oh, girl, I don't know if you're Miss Marlene or what, but no offense, child. Come in, enjoy the show. I don't care. Enjoy the show. I'm just telling y'all what I said. Why do people get so intense? Let me see. Anyway, he says, "I moved Ariane into my investment crib." Okay. I moved Ariane into my investment crib. And it looks like he's asking his mom what she thinks about that. But why? You know what? At this point, what has it been? 10 years, 11 years? That little boy is 5 years old now. His son with Ariana is 5 years old. His mom says, "Well, that's nice. I'm sure she likes that big old house and blah, 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 blah." And Martell says some shit like, "Yeah, there's no reason for me to be paying for the investment property and another house for her to stay in." Okay, sure. You know what I'm saying? And then he says, "I can't live with her because she would need a ring on her finger first, because Martell and Melody actually are court ordered not to have relationships around the children. They have to, do a certain thing, whatever that happens to be. But getting married is going to have to be one of them if they want their significant other to stay the night or be in the home." Okay. But he says all that to her. And then he says, "I need to make sure." After he says, "I have to put a ring on her finger," the mama says, "Well, yeah. When are you going to do that?" You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have plans to do that? Martell says, "Well, I do, but I need to make sure this is right. I need to make sure it's right. It's been hard on all of us, but I'm not sure yet. There's some things that I need to see from Ariane to make sure that this is right." The mom says, "Okay, well, take your time, baby. At the end of the day, the bitch did a whole lot to get you." Okay. She said she did a whole lot to get you. So I guess she'll wait it out for a few years more to see if you want to marry her, which I thought, by the way, was absolute trash. If this child, and by child, I mean that stupid little girl, Ariane, if she's listening to this, I mean, what else do you need to get knocked over the head? Marlene says, "Well, I'm just now getting to know her. I'm just now getting to know her because I was real hell-bent on not fooling with her at all." Martell said, "Yeah, you did lay it down. You said you weren't going to ever talk to her." She said, "Well, you know how it goes. I meant that, because you did that thing." And now she's speaking in code. "You did that thing, the affair, and the outcome of that happened." Like, you wouldn't even say the child's name. Maverick. Martell had an affair and had a child out of wedlock. So the mom is speaking in code. Martell's just nodding. He's looking crazy though. But at this point, she sure made that known. But at this point, in my head, I was thinking, this would have been the perfect time for Marlene to just put it on the line, okay? Because once you get a certain age, it really is your birthright. It really is your birthright to say what you need to say to people sometimes. And in this case, Martell deserved it. When he first said, "I moved the girl into the house," Marlene should have said, "Now, do you think that's a good idea to move her into your house? Because y'all get into a fight like every other Tuesday." You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, what's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen when she gets pissed off at you and she brings another man in there while you babysitting, okay? And then send you pictures of someone sleeping in the bed or whatever the case may be. And I already got one son in jail. Now I have to worry about the other son going to jail, or me having to bury him before it's too late. This is real conversation that an old mama would have with a son that's on a hamster wheel. How long did it take you to figure out that you wanted to marry your ex-wife? A day, 2 days, a year, a month? You don't need that long. You know where you are with this woman, and what you're doing, Martell, is you are stringing that girl along. You are giving her false hope. Putting her in that house is giving her false hope because she thinks that this shit is going to go somewhere. But you are letting me know with the I need to make sure it's right that it's not, because a man knows what he knows. He knows what he wants. You've always known what you wanted up into this shit. So you got to tell them that. You got to get them to move. And she didn't do that. And then going ahead and remind them, your ex is still out here talking about how you emotionally abused her. Okay. And not only that, but she did a whole episode where she brought armed guards to her house. Okay. She said there's going to be one across the street, one in the backyard, one on the roof for your ass. Okay. She's doing videos where she's saying she's calling security. Martell, your ex-wife don't want you around. What do you think is going to happen when this girl finally wakes the fuck up and she doesn't want you around? Somebody's going to pull the trigger. You have to know better. Now, I don't know if this is a conversation that Miss Marlene already had with Martell. It could be. But that's the one that should have happened on screen, because that's a real moment, okay? Because those two acting like, oh, okay, baby, well, you take your time in trying to figure out if you want to marry her or not. Marlene, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nobody does that, ever, ever. Hit the like button, please, and thank you. I have to say that surprised the shit out of me. That surprised me more than anything else. I literally thought Marlene was lying and Martell were lying. Okay. Martell, listen, I don't even know if he's seeing the results from his action. I said, Marlene should have said, listen, Martell, every bad thing that has happened in your life as an adult, it seems like it happened because of that girl, whether it was going to jail. Like, you was proud about not doing that, going to jail, losing your wife, losing a multi-million-dollar business project. All these things happened because of her. And you clearly got a hang up about something. So how long is it going to take you to get off of the pot? Let's go. What are you doing? Come on in, everybody. Welcome to the chat. Not white Jesus. Sometimes white Jesus, child. But look, it's white Jesus with a black hand. Okay? What was me, child? At the end of the day, you gotta get your shit together. That's it. I don't know anybody that wouldn't have told Martell that. I was sad that she actually didn't give him more. I was expecting more. Anyway, after doing all that, the girl Marlene decided to say, have you spoke to Marceau? Why would he speak to Marceau? You shouldn't even be worried about Marceau. As a mama, I would think that if you did mention Marceau, you would have said, listen, stop worrying about what Marceau has going on in his fucking bedroom and start worrying about how Marceau still got his wife, still got his children and his family, works on both of the jobs that you started for him, the TV show and Sculpt. Like, think about that, because that means your ass is still in a rut. Get it up and get it going. I don't know. If nobody's saying this, if somebody you love don't say this to you, you'll never be who you're supposed to be in life. Come on in, everyone. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Hit the like button and share the video, please, and thank you. Martell is still being babied by everyone. I wouldn't have any more grace. His mama who birthed them should have all the grace in the world for him. That's the one that should be telling him this. The fact that you watched this TV show back and you saw your ex-wife put a security team, one on the, like I said, one in the front yard, the backyard, and on the roof. They're pointing down the street, talking about where all these people are in case your ass show up. Think about this. This shouldn't make you feel good. And I'm not lying when I say, if that's where Mel is 14, 15 years later, where the hell do you think you're going to be with Ariane? You're in year 11, I think. What year is he in with Ariane? Yes, at this point in time, you are having a conversation where both of y'all are tickling each other. You told all those niceties at the beginning of that segment. You told her everything that she wanted to hear so that she can come in and feed you. You don't even have anybody to film with. Martell and Marlene are still reading on a 5th grade level. Okay. Marlene is filming only because with Martell only because she want to be there. Okay. Anyway, I think most of y'all understand what my point is. She asked him about Marceau, and he said, I don't give a shit about Marceau. Anything that he says to me, I'm going to do it back to him 10 times greater. And she said, that's right, baby. That's right. It was a bad scene. I want to see Martell pick it up. And by pick it up, I mean, if he wants people to believe that he is moved on, he's just going to have to, he's going to have real conversations, because that was a fake one. He says that he has to still get to know her. All he knows is her being on her back and knees. This is actually what he said. He said that he wants to make sure that she does what she says she's going to do. And really, he had a roundabout way. This is the fucked up part. He had a roundabout way of saying, I want to make sure that we're compatible. That's what he said. I'm not sure that we're compatible. He said, I don't know if she's going to continue to do the things she says she's going to do. And I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do the things I said I'm going to do. Then if you don't know by now, you will never, ever know. You're done. That's a breakup. You put her in that house. You put her in that house so that you can keep an eye on her, is what you did. You put her in the house so that you can keep an eye on her. And for whatever reason, we can all tell, at least everybody that watches y'all on the outside, that it feels like love to her when you are possessive of her, when you are throwing temper tantrums and telling her what to do. That's when she's smiling and, oh, okay, Martell. That's what that is. That's how you know how to show it. And it's not like that. And we all know that. Come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hitting the like button, because you are etiquette. I understand, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Ari is still the silly one that doesn't see what he's doing, and she may not at the moment, but she's going to be on one of those women's entertainment TV shows. What is it called? What's that show where the wife always takes out the husband? Snapped, I think it's called. It's going to be one of those. He doesn't want her. He doesn't want anyone to have her either. Just let her go. So exactly. He wants a woman. And I agree with you. During this episode, I was like, it's clearer than ever that Martell does not want this relationship. And calling her a good girl 1 million times or a good mother 1 million times does not make her somebody you want. And I'm going to tell you something else, and y'all can get mad at me if you want to. I don't really give a shit. A woman who chases after a man is not a good mama. Her brain is completely occupied by what that man has going on Monday through Sunday, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What can I do? period, to make sure this one is at home or wherever he's supposed to be. That's all there is to it. And that child is going to remember that when he gets older, period. That's a fact. Why are you yelling at us? Sorry, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Women who chase men the way Ariane has to chase after Martell, because she be having complete and total breakdowns on public platforms where she's screaming and hollering and crying all of the time. What's her son doing when she's doing that? Or any of them? You just described Kimmy and Ari. Kimmy's child is a grown man with a child of his own. Martell, every time he shows up on camera, says Ariane's a good mother. That's impossible. That's impossible. And it's the very reason why the court said you and Ariane can't be in that house spending the night together with your own children. I don't care. You have to have a co-parenting relationship with that woman. Make sure she's at her house and you see them the way you would like you see Mel's children. You go over and visit, but you got to be by yourself, because she's not a good mama and you're not a good daddy when the two of you come together. That's why. Right. He was 13, but he's a grown man now. He's grown. That's what I was saying. It's the 5-year-old that we have to worry about. It's a 5-year-old. Just like all of your kids, we have to also remember everybody. It doesn't matter, shit. Anyway, after we get from there, who do we go to? Now we're at the party. That's all I wanted to say about Marlene and Martell. I feel like Marlene missed the mark. So Maurice and we're at Trisha's party. Trisha has this cowboy themed party, and everybody is coming into the event. Everybody is coming into the event. Marceau and Maurice said that they got questions for Chris. So they're about to ask some questions of Chris in this NDA. And it looks like at the end of the day, everybody has an agenda. Shit, that's what it really looks like. Everybody has an agenda. Tisha wants to get to the bottom of Trisha and Ken, because she doesn't understand why Trisha has pictures of Ken all over her 38th birthday party. She was like, did I come to your shit or my shit? I don't know. So Tisha's about to get in Trisha's ass, and she's already got a drink or two in her, because Tisha likes to get a little tipsy, child. Anyway, when all the ladies arrive, it is Tisha, Trisha, Kimmy, and Nell Fletcher. And Tisha asked Trisha just that, like, girl, what's going on with the photos? And also, I didn't even know that you was into Ken like that, because every time I see you, it looks like you got one foot in and one foot out. And when she says this, even though Trisha heard her, she goes, what? Like, she didn't understand what she was saying. The first thing she said when she asked her, why do you have Ken's picture all over these poster boards everywhere? She went, because he's my black chocolate. He's my chocolate. He's my black cowboy. Okay. So now I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Trisha, even in here. But when Tisha asked the question, girl, you got one foot in, one foot out, that's when Trisha acts like she didn't understand. And then a few seconds later, she goes, I'm all the way in. I'm all the way in. Okay. Tisha dog Ken and those pics. What? She said, it ain't your birthday. She did say that. She did say that. But anyway, then we have Marceau and Maurice. They're in a completely different corner. Now they got Ken by the shirt collar, okay? Marceau and Maurice decided they're going to attack Ken the way Tisha decided she was going to attack Trisha. And Marceau said, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate with you. The bottom line is evidence matters, okay? You're the bad guy. Even if you don't see it that way, you're the bad guy. Ken says, how? What am I doing? They're not together. Oh my God, I can't believe y'all saying this. Marceau says, at the end of the day, despite the fact you might think that family is your family, if anything happened to Trisha, they're going to call Marquez first, okay? You wouldn't even be allowed in the damn surgery room, okay? Get your shit together. So after he says that after Marceau says that to him, Ken gets pissed and he goes, I don't know why Marceau and Maurice want to double team me with their advice, but those are the last two that should ever give any type of relationship advice. That's number one. And number two, okay, I'm not taking advice from them, okay? I don't give two shits what they say. They want to act like they know everything. They don't know anything. At this point, Ken is completely turned off by Maurice and Marceau, which they just laugh at, okay? Anyway, then we jump from them to Nell Fletcher. Now, once we are over where Nell Fletcher, Tisha, Kimmy, and Trisha are, Nell decides to jump right into it. And she said, listen, I'm still not sure if the two of you were transparent about not watching that video, that interview that Martell did with Ariane. And Kimmy said, why? What is there to be transparent about? You asked me and I told you I didn't watch the whole interview. Why would I watch the whole fucking interview? What is this about this transparency? Kimmy is pissed, and I'm not even making that up. Kimmy was like, girl, why do you keep asking me this? What is the problem? Now Fletcher's like, well, just seemed to me that y'all would have watched the interview. Then Tisha gets mad. So she's like, bitch, everybody wants me to have a problem with this or admit that Marceau is cheating. I've never caught my husband cheating. I'm not answering to you. Okay. And Kimmy says the same shit. I'm not answering to you. If we haven't saw it, what are we supposed to do? Okay. So Nell Fletcher's like, okay. I'm just saying. It just didn't seem like the right answer. It seemed like you would have watched the video in order to get what you needed from it. Kimmy said, I can't act on what I don't see. And I'm not going to give you more than what I see. And if you want us to be better friends, you're going to have to kill this transparency shit because you're already on my bad side. Tisha says the same thing. At the end of the day, I don't know what you want from me. And especially why you would even be worried about what me and Marceau has going on when Chris Fletcher is out here flexing his damn muscles every day of the week with the chick with the Lululemons on, okay? So she's like, bitch, I don't know why you keep trying to put things on my back and on my marriage when I've heard things about your marriage that seems like it'll be a little more interesting to you. That's just coming from me. Now Trish, who I guess thinks she's trying to help with things, only she didn't. Trish tries to join in and says, well, I think what she's looking for, maybe you guys are just seems a little guarded about answering the question. To which Tisha says in confessional, but first she pulls back like, bitch, I know you're not talking. I know you're not talking. But Tisha says in her confessional, it's interesting that Trisha, of all people, would be chiming in about this transparency thing when Trisha don't even know how to spell transparent. We still don't know what the hell's going on between her and Martell. Did he eat the pie or nah? Okay. So Tisha is definitely clowning Trisha. Unfortunately for Trisha. Unfortunately for Trisha. But she let her have it. It wasn't necessary for Tisha and Kimmy to lie. It wasn't necessary for Tisha and Kimmy to lie about watching the interview. And you know they watched. Okay, look, she said, child, you still just giving us bits and pieces of the pie. And it looks like you gave Martell the whole pie. You gave Martell the whole pie. So, baby, why are you coming for me? Okay. So right now, that is where these ladies are. But while this whole thing is going, Tisha is still drinking because her turn up from the table to when she meets the men is like on level 100. But while they're having this conversation, now we have Marceau and Maurice. They decide to double team Chris Fletcher. They decide to double team Chris Fletcher about these NDAs. And Chris, I didn't realize that Chris is shorter than Marceau and Maurice because he had to look up to them for a second. That shit was crazy. Yes, Nell told Tisha will be in a different place once she got that liquor in her. That's true. She was just a little bit gone in the scene, but not gone enough to slur or not to speak clearly. She definitely did that. She spoke very clearly. But anyway, Marceau, Maurice are now addressing Chris Fletcher about the NDA comment. Okay, last year it was Melody who had, I don't know, popcorn with Chris Fletcher. I think she bought popcorn or coffee or something. And she said some shit like, listen, I think she said, are you the one who told Martell, the older guy that told Martell that he needs to get an NDA, make sure that the woman has just as much to lose as him? And Chris stumbles and fumbles, okay, and said, no, I didn't say that. Maybe it was Maurice and Marceau who did that. That's how the scene plays out. But Chris said, y'all missing the context. I didn't say that. You're missing the context. So they were like, enlighten me. What's the fucking context? Because clearly you said it. You're not denying you said it. So what's the context? Chris says, well, I said because you're a lawyer. Because you're a lawyer, perhaps you introduced to him the idea of getting an NDA because that's something that's in your wheelhouse. NDAs, contracts, shit like that. Marceau and Maurice both give one of these, you lying motherfucker kind of looks. Because, baby, why would that even come to your head to say? Okay? And that's still the context. If you're throwing it off on them, why would they know? That is still the context. But it was funny that he said it that way. They go, oh, he goes, yeah. Chris is holding his red cup like he did something. He said, yeah, I just mentioned the fact that you was a lawyer. That's it. Okay, why you mad at me? The shit was funny. Anyway, they, I guess, work it out to some degree. In confessional, Maurice said, the shit still sounds like a problem to me. I don't trust Chris Fletcher as far as I can see him. But if that's the explanation he wants to give, cool. I'm gonna let it go. I just know what I'm dealing with moving forward. Marceau says basically the same thing. I know exactly what I'm dealing with moving forward. Chris is a liar. Okay. Baby, the men in Huntsville lack maturity. They cracking jokes and laughing while their wives are about to go to war on their behalf. Okay. That's when the wives stepped into the picture, y'all. He changed that shit up real quick. That's when the wives come into the picture. And it's Tisha who sees Chris and immediately became way too familiar. I told y'all before, don't get too familiar with somebody's husband. And even Marceau says in the scene, Tisha will sometimes talk to a husband like it's her husband. And he said, that's the wrong thing to do. Don't do that. And we've heard Marceau say this since first season. Don't put me in a situation where I have to fight and maybe not come home to my kids. I've asked you this a million times. Okay. Me and Maurice walked up on this mofo together. Now here your little ass come, right? Did you notice that Maurice pulled Kimmy back while trying to defend Tisha? Then Trish had to pull her back. Okay. I saw them kind of go into that group scene, but it wouldn't surprise me that Maurice did that. That's normal fare. But I am going to tell you what I did notice, and this is interesting. So when Tisha's getting her hands in Chris Fletcher's face, and now we see Nell's about to activate because she's like, Tisha, get your hands out of his face. And what the hell do you think you're doing? Chris stood there with a smile on his face. He's not going to buck on Tisha. That's just not his spirit, right? He knows that. He knows that. But Tisha is pissed and she wants to hear the answer. Why are you out here telling people that my husband and Maurice signed NDAs? And she's flipping, okay? And the whole time Marceau is just looking at her like, it's like we don't talk to each other. It's like we don't talk to each other. Anyway, Chris Fletcher said, I don't answer to you. I don't answer to you. Your husband is behind you. And not only that, he and I already talked. We got the answer. And what did you say? And that's when Marceau comes in. And we know from the past that Marceau likes to embarrass the shit out of Tisha. This is a moment where he would embarrass Tisha. But Marceau was so gentle with Tisha. Went over, grabbed her arm, whispered in her ear, called her out by her last name. Hey, Scott, we already talked about it. Well, what did he say then? I'll tell you what he said later, but you don't have to worry about it. We took care of it. This isn't something you got to worry about. And I said, bitch, don't say therapy ain't working for Marceau. Marceau did what Tisha asked him to do. Now let's see if Tisha's able to do what he's asked her to do. Because how many times have he said to her, don't do that. Don't get in a man's face. Don't make me have to go over here and defend you like that. I don't know if I'm coming home. Okay. Now, I thought that shit was funny. Tisha did the same thing last season when she got liquored up at Nell's birthday party. Exactly. But that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. Now I might have missed something, so I'm gonna let y'all just ask questions in the chat so we can just talk about it. But the best scene I would have to say was the Martell scene, only because if Martell can't see now more than ever that man is on a hamster wheel, nothing will. But Marlene, if you don't say it on TV, make sure you say it at home. Am I going to bury you or see you go to prison? Which one? Because you're setting yourself up for that. It's almost like Martell is trying to figure out who's going to take him out first. That's what it feels like he's on a mission to, lose his life. She already made a fool out of herself. Child. Tisha, come on in, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe, okay? Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking. I'm looking at the comments. Tisha had one job and she did it. That's what it looked like. She's actually, and you can tell maybe she's drinking so she can get the courage, but she's definitely asking the questions that need to be asked. Somebody needed to ask Trisha, you got 1 foot in, you 1 foot out. What's happening next? I agree with that. But I do think that Tisha got in Chris Fletcher's face because she saw him and thought, what, y'all over here having fun playing pool? Why isn't heads getting knocked and rocked? That's what she wanted to see. Okay. Bump up the thumbs up. That's right. But yeah, Tisha's gonna push Trisha in Nell's direction. Explain what you mean, push Trisha in Nell's direction. By doing what? Anyway, most growth for this episode, I would say, is Marceau. I think Marceau appeared to have the most growth, and I get that people have to see a whole lot of change, but that's just not something that's inside of Marceau to have pulled Tisha and whispered in her ear to cut the shit out. I was like, child, Tisha has told that man in therapy so many times, you embarrass me, that you can tell that even when he was standing there, he was like, how do I handle this? How do I handle this? Because she's doing exactly what I asked her not to do. That's a point. Anyway, that was pretty much the episode, y'all. Tisha and Kimmy are alliances, and Nell and Trisha are alliances. I mean, Tisha don't even like Nell Fletcher or Trisha. She already said she didn't like them. Yeah. All right, but that's it, you guys. That was the episode. That was the show. Whose show do you want it to be? You want it to be Martell and Destiny, or the Fletchers? Who would you like to see lead the show? Did I see Marquez begging to be back on the show? I told you 2 weeks ago. That he lost his job on his day off. I told you that. I said not only did he lose his job on his day off, but he knows damn well that he was only in Huntsville to film. That's it. And now he is over there trying to figure out how to get back on the show. Thank you for promising me that there might be an opportunity for me to come back and tell my story in the future. I'm in therapy now. I saw it. Interesting stuff. Y'all gave him a whole lot of credit. He's a good dad. He just wants to blah, blah, blah. Never that. Never that. Never was that person. An ensemble cast. So tell me, Chronic, this is good. Tell me, what story are you missing? Tell me, what story are you missing? Is it Martell's? Because at the moment, it seems like everybody's giving their family story. If you don't feel like it's an ensemble, it's because you feel like someone's falling short with telling their story. But I think Nell Fletcher has been real good. I've actually forgot this part of the scene, y'all. I'm so sorry. I must have fast forward. There was a part this episode where Nell Fletcher sits down with her son. I believe that happened this episode. Nell Fletcher sits down with her son, and he's telling her how tired he is, how this new baby's in his life. He don't feel like he has any time for himself. He's exhausted, right? And Nell Fletcher says to him, a woman who works a full-time job, who was just a couple of seasons ago screaming about how her and Chris have to have their time, that their adult children are adult children. But she says to her adult son, do you want me to stay 2 nights a week over here so that I can help you feel better? Get better. Where's the mama? He says to her, yeah, maybe, but I gotta, don't you have to ask dad? That's a whole scene within itself. That, I think they carried their weight perfectly. Anyway, that's what it looks like. I don't know if that's this that happened this scene or if it's coming in the next scene. But we're going to get another scene where Chris Fletcher sits down with his son and he says, basically the same thing. Mom wants to stay at the house 3 days a week, not 2, 3 days a week. And Chris said, if we keep bailing you, when are you going to become an adult? If we keep bailing you out. I think that a lot of people have that problem. I think a lot of people got grown ass kids in the basement who's afraid to get out there and spread their wings and fly. I think that's a solid ass storyline. Personally, I like it. I like their storyline. I think they hold their own. I think that Tisha and Marceau are holding their own with whatever's going on in this part of their life. They're together. They're in therapy. They're trying to figure it out. Okay. I don't think you can get any more real than that. Tisha's trying to defend that marriage. I almost got divorced last year, or we were talking about getting divorced. It's okay for her to be pissed at what's going on with Nell Fletcher coming after her marriage. I think that's okay. If she yells at her mama, I think that's okay. If anybody on the show, including Trisha, says something, I think it's okay for her to talk back. Leave my marriage alone. It's already on thin ice. I don't have to tell you any of my moves, and I don't give a shit about transparency when it comes to you. I need to be transparent to my husband and my children as much as I can be, but not you. You're a stranger, okay? Order a drink and move on. Who else? Kimmy and Maurice. I like Kimmy and Maurice's storyline so far. I'm okay with Kimmy and Maurice bringing Jalen into the mix and us as an audience getting to see that Jalen's going to leave soon, which leaves Kimmy there by herself because Monster's also in college. Now that relationship that had the, I don't know, that little safety net of the children, because you have a safety net with your children when you are there in that house with your spouse. Now that relationship is about to come 1,000,000 times more real. Who are the two of them going to be to each other? I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Tisha's the only one I think with the babies that's on the show at the moment. Did I catch everybody? I think that's everybody. Oh, Trish and Ken. Now, Trish and Ken seems like they're going to have the hardest storyline. They're going to have the hardest storyline. It started out with Marquez, no problems. What's next? We know Destiny is Destiny a full-time cast member? I think she might be, but she's only on there part-time. She hasn't had any problems to share. So it's still a light life. And Martell, same deal. He keeps saying the shit about Ariane. We're already bored. So if they edit this show properly, we're not going to see him in the next episode. Okay? Thank you, Tina. I told you. I knew what I was watching. And I'm not saying that the man doesn't love his kids. I'm saying that his motivation wasn't what everybody thought it was. Yes, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I think had three people from the same family on at one time that I can remember. Joe and Teresa Giudice, their families are on Real Housewives of New Jersey. And then they had a sister-in-law or somebody, 2 sister-in-laws on there. What was it? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Manzo, Caroline, and that one. So yeah, there's a lot of families that double up. We just don't give them the credit they deserve. The Kardashians, there's way too many of them. I felt real bad for China when she was on there, child. I want to say damn near all of them. Okay. Candy Burris. Candy Burris had her entire family on RHOA. Brothers, oh, well, she don't have a brother anymore, but mamas, aunties, daddy, granddaddy, their husbands. She said one of the reasons people on the cast hated her so much is because she could have carried the show by herself with her family alone. Okay. That was fun, Lies and More Lies. Maurice is so disrespectful, he couldn't control himself from lusting over Trisha. Oof. Yeah, at the moment, Trisha and Ken are the only two people who don't have more to bring into the space. But really, the Fletchers can film and not see the Scotts at all, and the Scotts can film and not see them at all. When you don't have anyone to film with, it gets hard. Like Martell can only film right now with Destiny and his mother. But those conversations aren't real. Those are the conversations that they set up, and you can tell. You can tell. They act like Lance is a single child. I would have thought that Lance birthed the baby and the baby mama was a deadbeat. You know what I'm saying? But he has the child, I think he said 3 or 4 days a week, they're splitting custody. So the mom saying, do you want me, Nell saying, you want me to be here for 2 days out the week? That's half the time he has him. Chronic, I love you. You're good with me. You know that. Y'all all are good with me. I don't have any problems. I'm just trying to think about it. I'm sorry. I'm just asking. Lies and More Lies, can you think of any other show where they have sets of family on the show? Ken is making folks think that he is single and knowing damn well they still together. I saw that he took a picture with somebody who looked like Big Booty Judy. And that lady that he took the picture with, she has she seems to be in a lot of photos with him, and they seem like they flirt a lot. They flirt a lot with each other. You think that Destiny and Martell are going to have the hardest storyline? Destiny, my beautiful friend. Everyone is regurgitating the same storyline. The storyline and the characters are not growing or developing. Oh, I hate that you feel that way. I see a little development. I don't see any in Martell's. I understand that he can say the word Arion and Maverick now, but that's not growth. You're actually still in the past. Pressing upon your mama that you're not sure if you and Arion are compatible, saying that, it was up to your mama to say, if you're not compatible, you know that now. And you don't got a whole lot of years left, bruh. You are in your 40s now. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to that 50 marker, you sliding down a razor blade, baby. You can't keep this up. Destiny has not been getting any filming time. She might as well just be a friend of the show. I feel the same way. There's a couple of shows that have family members on it. Come on in, come on in. What's up, Victoria? Thank you. The Fletcher's family definitely can carry on their own. The Fletcher's got a lot going on. Right now, I think that we're looking at, a lot of people are trying to still figure out how they're going to navigate the Scott stuff, because so much stuff has happened, especially online. But listen, a lot of stuff people just say to say. Y'all have to remember that too. Kimmy is in the same house. I know a lot of people said that her house was sold. That's the same exact house. They knocked a wall out. They knocked a wall out and put glass doors where her, I guess were part of her property, like the back way. But that same place her Maurice were drinking tea at, that's the same house that what's her name? Kiki was at. That was the same house Kiki was at, because I remember them pushing each other off the porch. That's the same exact porch. Watching from Florida. What's up, Florida? You got me with candy. That's okay. You're forcing me to remember stuff. And my brain is saying, not today, baby. But that's okay. Kim will have an opportunity to show that he's still a crazy, unhinged mofo, even without Martell. Looking forward to it. Sherry said, does he have custody of the baby? Are you talking about Lance or Lucky? I don't know. I think that he made a comment about having the baby a few days a week. Either way, when I told y'all Nell Fletcher knew that baby was coming and turned her back and made it seem like Destiny was a problem, and she was encouraging Destiny to date Lance, talking about, I don't know what they're going on, but they always playing footsie when I see them. So if you really had Destiny's best interest at heart, the second that baby was on the way and you saw it, you should have told Destiny. You should have told Destiny. I would have. And Nell Fletcher is not beneath that. She could have gone to Destiny and said, child, my son got a lot going on. If that was a real storyline. Come on in. What's up? Lawson Blair. Nice to have you. I like the way your name is spelled. I appreciate the storyline with Jalen. I do think that Maurice was hands off, not a good stepdad. But why are they just talking about it now? I know this issue had been a thing probably since they began. So let's talk about all the storylines that Maurice and Kimmy has had through the years. Let's start with that. We remember that Maurice came on the show with a woman that he had been dating for 7 long years. And what did he call her? He said that was her, hey, Dr. Net. He said that was his common law wife. And the only reason he was going to put a ring on Kimmy's finger is because he said Alabama took common law wife off the books. So now he has to give her a real ring. That was the introduction to their relationship, which I thought was a hoot. Martell messed up when he didn't allow his kids to film. Now he doesn't have kids to film with. You're not lying. He should not try to. If he didn't block that, he could definitely tell the story better through his children. Because now we are all looking at Martell like he's a hot ass mess. But that was our introduction. We knew that Kimmy had an ex, not an ex-husband, and a child. We knew that Maurice had an ex-wife who had already remarried and had his son. And he made it seem like this was his time to shine and be the best father ever. Him and his ex-wife made an agreement. She would have him until a certain age, and then he would take him on, and he would show him how to be a man. And that's a big deal, because if he didn't show him, then the man that Kiowa already had in the house would have been following his direction, right? So it was a real big deal for Maurice to take Monster on. And it was such a big deal that he said, I will do anything it takes to sweeten the pot, including allowing Kiowa, her husband, the kids they have, to live in one of my houses here in Alabama. If she came to Huntsville, she could stay there rent-free as long as I take over the rearing of my son. That's how important it was to him. Didn't even tell his damn wife, just got married, sprung it on her when they were at the cabin. And when I tell you Kimmy braced her entire body so that she didn't go into cardiac arrest, I saw her clench and she said, you don't think that you should have asked me first? And he said no, because the outcome would have been the same. Because the outcome would have been the same, okay? When it comes to my son, I don't have to ask you shit. That's between me and Kiowa. It is something he has preached since the first season, and he has never, ever, ever changed one single syllable. So whether they showed it to us every episode or we just know for a fact, It is what it is. Okay, that was one of the first storylines. She even showed up in counseling where Kimmy says, I raised my son. Okay, my son is big as hell. He's about to go to college. Now I am being faced with doing this again. This was a part of their storyline, which I thought was top tier, by the way. I mean, a lot of people complain, but that was a top tier fucking storyline. Kimmy went to that damn counseling session. She started crying and said, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to raise babies again. I was sitting at home with my child, my baby, when my friends was out partying and having fun. I wasn't doing nothing. She was so hurt. And she said, because I know the man I married and I can't deny him the opportunity to have a child because he can't have one with me. Okay. That ship has gone and sailed. Okay. She said, because I know that I can't do it. But now this is my situation. And she started crying. Tears started streaming down her face. She was dabbing her eyes. And Maurice looked all the way down into her face like that and said, are you serious? Because he didn't expect her to cry. And she said, yes, I got together with a young man because I thought I would get to live out what I lost, what I missed out on. Phenomenal storyline, Kimmy. Great. I don't think people give you enough credit for being honest and saying that shit because that was real. Everybody knows. You watch people live life and you don't. You want to get that shit out your system, okay? We went from that storyline to her and Maurice. This is where things might have fell off just a little bit. She did get into it with Kimmy with Kyle for a couple of seasons, so that was top tier. But Maurice was just an asshole. When he was on screen, he was a complete and total asshole. Maurice, it is what it is. You were very demanding. You were in school. Yeah, he was in school for law school, whatever. But the shit that Kimmy had to eat was real bad for us on the outside watching. Like, what's going on here? COVID hits, then, right? She has cancer. That was their storyline. For not even that long, I really feel like they only went through that first half and second half of the season for the year. And people literally said, I don't want to hear any more about Kimmy having cancer, to the point of where people started saying that her having cancer was a lie. Like that was pretty repugnant. They showed themselves going to and leaving the cancer treatment. She showed the pick in her chest. There was a lot of things that she did to show that she was real. And then we could actually see her sick on screen. Come on in. So that entire part was a season. Right. She got an emotional support dog. Correct. And we know that had everything to do with Maurice. She didn't feel like she was being supported. He expected her to roll over and take it when she was at her worst. Okay. There was a whole lot that they showed that was actually decent storylines. Whether it might have made you mad, but just because a storyline makes you mad doesn't mean it's not a storyline. But those were decent seasons. You don't think she talked enough about being sick? She talked about not having a sex drive. She talked about having to face the fact that even though cheating is supposed to be a deal breaker for both her and Maurice, she might have to think outside the box and look at their relationship differently, because Maurice is a man who needs it a certain amount of times, if not a day, a week, and she just don't have it to give. She says this on camera. I would love to get my sex drive back, but I went to the doctor and I told him, he asked me, how do I feel on a scale of 1 to 10? I told him a 2. And he said, that 2 might be your new normal. That might be how you feel for the rest of your life. That might be as good as it gets. That that my mind up. I that messed my mind up. Um, I don't know. I think it was introduced because of the thing. I don't know how you would want that introduced though. If I think there's a lot of stuff that happened in their life that we don't know, but I think that the storyline came in when it was supposed to, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure when to add that part in. Right. Um, I don't think she talked about it too much. I agree. I think that monster, because Jalen wasn't really there. Jalen was Jalen was young, but when we saw him, he was going into college, right? When we saw Jalen, he was going into college. Maybe that's why. He wasn't a child. He wasn't 13 at the time. Because when we saw him, he was partying with the Scotts. They were all showing that they were Qs. Maybe that's why we didn't see him when he was the baby. We saw Monster when he was the baby. Okay, that might be the answer, y'all. If y'all remember Jalen when he was a child on the show, let me know. I think that he was much older though. I think that he was already going to high school. I mean to college. But that was it. I think that they had decent storylines. I think that people just got tired of, I don't know, child. That was his graduation, high school graduation, or was that his college graduation? That was his college graduation. So we didn't see Jalen as a child on the show. He was already on his way to college, and what we saw was his college graduation. She gave him a Rolex or something like that. I know it was a fancy watch. We saw Monster grow up. We didn't see Jalen grow up. So Jalen sharing this part of his life on camera, that's a big deal because he didn't have to give us anything. Jalen was already out the house. Okay, thank you. Sometimes we got to talk our way through it, child. Yeah, because the show really's only been on the air for 5 years. We saw, and when Melody and Martell, for some reason, I feel like that was a college graduation. I don't know. I think that Miss Nell is doing what her producer is telling her to do. What you talking about was old hash over mess. Yep. Okay. So he was in his senior year of high school. That was the graduation. Thank you. He had moved all the way out. And then we saw college graduation after. Okay. So Melody and Martell gets divorced in the first season. That was when she went to the graduation party. But he was still big. So we're not going to see, we didn't see Maurice punish him, yell at him. We didn't see any of that because it wasn't being filmed. They were already past those part of his growing years. And the fact that we didn't hear why Jalen's dad wasn't around, how he took her to court for custody, just like Martell did. Um, maybe. It's good to ask. Sometimes we forget what happened on the show. But yeah, you're right. I think there was two graduations. There was the high school graduation, and then he did do his college graduation. We know he came back. She bought him a house for his graduation. The first one was high school, though. She bought him a house and all that stuff. Anyway, I still think that Kimmy had a good, I think that Kimmy had decent storylines. Kimmy and Maurice had decent storylines. Then there was, I thought that actually Tisha and Marcel had decent storylines. Having a husband who is as chauvinist as Marcel, who believed that the woman should be at home taking care of the kids and he should be the only breadwinner, all of that shit, that's real life. He still thinks it. We're not going to pretend like he don't. But he's getting there. I thought that they had decent storylines. When did things go wrong? I think things went wrong when the show tried to take things from the internet and put it on the show. I really felt like, I know everybody was tuning into YouTube, but after a while, the cast members started bringing the YouTube drama to the show. And that's what made it inauthentic. And then people who's watching it was like, well, why didn't they talk about this? And people really couldn't keep up with time frames. Like, the show was taped 6 months ago. The shit you watch happened 2 days ago. It got all convoluted. Now it's a show again. It doesn't feel the same. When did Kimmy give Jalen the investment property for his graduation, for his college graduation? She said she wanted to make him a property owner. She got him his own place. So he had an amazing start. She paid for his full way through college. She said, I got a couple of more bills that I need to put on Jalen's books. Okay. I got some money I still got to put on Jalen's books. I'm not going to quit my job until I do what I said I was going to do. That was good. Yeah. But this is also the season when so much shit was revving up on social media. Melody and Martell were at war with each other. They were the stars of the show. They were at war with each other. They were fighting each other online. That big ass fight that happened online that one day. Horrible. But that literally kind of ran the show. It ran the show. And then the cheating shit that everybody thought the Scotts were doing, that ran the show. Because people were like, well, if you're not going to tell the truth about cheating, and they were just like, we can't win if we did tell you the truth, so it doesn't matter. Chronic, when did you see Black excellence on this show? Everybody came on with a job. They're all college graduates. They're all people who have families who's trying to figure it out. But this show opened with Martell talking about no one sucking his dick. And it's literally been that's not a Black excellence thing. I mean, I don't know. It's subjective, I guess. Kimmy did a good job with her son. Most people wish that they could be debt-free or get your son to graduate without debt. Yes. I mean, there were moments that she had that was pretty decent. I liked it. There's a show on now that I think is going to be off the air. I think this is going to be their only season because they're making this all about work. And the truth of the matter is, you can't watch a show that has no drama on it. Just like you can't read a book. You read the book so that you can anticipate what's going on, so that you can fall in love with the characters, so that you can, when you close that book, you want to know what's going to happen next. I don't care what people are doing at work when I watch TV at all. I don't give two shits if you fired the dishwasher or had to buy a new refrigerator. If you make that the only conversation on a TV show, no one's going to watch. And whoever started that conversation, this is Black excellence and we need to see what they do for a living. They tricked y'all. Whoever said it cast a horrible spell over this show. Not one way would that work, ever. Yeah, it wasn't, and it wasn't meant to be. I know they use the word Black excellence, but Black excellence is a catch-all that people say the way people said Black on Black crime. I don't know if that's something people still say, but it does the Black community no justice. It does nothing for us. If Wanda got a master's degree at the end of the year, that would be considered Black excellence for a whole lot of people. But there's going to be somebody who thinks it's bullshit. You feel me? The way people talk about stuff. Our community feeds of drama, movies, TVs, books, whatever it is. It's crazy. But TV is supposed to be drama, though. That's why they call it the idiot box, because you're not really supposed to watch it to, I don't know, bring value to your life necessarily. You're supposed to watch it to say, oh, that's interesting. And then maybe you research something about it later. But we shouldn't look for people who's living life for the first time ever to have the right answers. Never. Never going to happen. These are first marriages. For Maurice, it's a second marriage, but for Kimmy, it's a first marriage. For Martell, it was a first marriage. Tisha and Marceau, first marriages. They don't have the answers, and we shouldn't expect that. Nell Fletcher and Chris Fletcher, they've been married the longest, over 30 years, but they've also been through a lot of hell. Now, they've shared a lot of it for I think last seasons they were in. It should be a lifestyle. Oh, okay. You think that they should live a different lifestyle? All right. Successful people got more drama than everybody else. I mean, it looks like it, right? When you watch people like Ray J, P. Diddy, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, their lives are full of drama. Every other day, Jay-Z has been accused of being with some little kid, some little girl child. Who knows if that's going to spark him being pulled out of his house. That's pretty scary. If it's just for entertainment, but this show was a whole different kind of, I don't know what to call it. It took people to a different level in their real life. Yeah. I would say for the first time we was watching, and it wasn't that we were watching it. When you think back on it, the drama came from Ariane and from whatever was being leaked to the blogs. We know at one point I actually said on my channel, is Marceau leaking this shit himself? Because how could this keep going out there every week? There was something. But when they had that, final hurrah where they're like, listen, it's come out. The girl had already admitted Ariane was the one feeding all that shit. And you could see that there's a real jealousy between Marceau and Martell. And if y'all have been listening to me from the beginning, what did I say from the very beginning? I said, Marceau and Martell literally have a rivalry going on. Okay? So when you think back on all the shit and how all that stuff was leaked out so that that show would be stopped in its tracks so that it couldn't move, and certain things could have happened. Martell male divorce, all of a sudden you don't know if you can stick around, if you're going to be here very long, and you try to tear the shit down. Let's tear the show down so that they don't profit or get to carry on what was started by me. It could happen. Martell can't tell the story with Ariane because the network has made a promise that as long as Melody is on the show, there is no Ariane, there is no baby. We know that they exist, but they're not on this show, right? And so people start doing all kinds of horrible tricks and stuff. That went on for years. And not only did it go on for years, it was 365 days from the time you pushed your button in the morning till you closed your eyes at night. Who went to jail? Who's at the pokey right now? Who can I call? Like, it was that type of, and people don't like to hear it, but that's considered a cult following. That is a cult following. For just the show, that's a cult following. The way people watch different TV shows. Oh, I don't blame you. I don't think that you can respect someone. You can't respect him because, number one, he doesn't even know what he feels. But I won't even give him that. He knows what he feels. If y'all listen to the scene, he makes it a point of saying, I have to see if she's going to do what she says she's going to do, and if I can trust her not to do certain things. Hell, I got to see if I can trust myself. I said, then you don't think you're compatible with her. And you're on your 11th year and you have a child that's 5 years old. You don't need anything else. You're not compatible. He's saying that in the scene. I have a hard time getting over this divorce, even though it was 5 years ago. A lot has happened. You know what's happened? Every bad thing in your life as an adult that you can think of has happened because of that girl, whether you're willing to admit it to yourself or not. You lost a lot. And it could still happen. There's things about her he don't trust. I think that it came from I think that it came from both. I can say for a fact that there was a whole crew of people that was sending out information. There was a whole crew of people that sent out information because sometimes it was just tired. People were tired, but there was people that was a part of teams that were sending out information. I mean, that's how reality TV is played too. But not nearly half of the shit that was being leaked out about the Scotts got leaked out in the same matter with Martell. Martell was fairly insulated, but the stuff that did come out came out because of Ariane. There was a lot of stuff that could have just stayed quiet, but it came out because of Ariane. I think that there was something else that was supposed to happen. I know that people watch the show, but if y'all watch the show, if you watch it from the beginning, if you think back on it, you'll see that none of this was chance. None of it. There was a whole lot of there was puppeteering on the YouTube streets. There was a lot of stuff that was going down, and it created a lot of emotion. It was a lot of emotion. There's a lot of stuff that Black people do every day of the week have been doing since the day we hatched from eggs, child. Um, 11 Huntsville is a drama. It's a drama base. It came on a Saturday night at an 8 o'clock time slot. It was drama based. It's always been drama based, and it was about the friendships. Even though people said Black excellence, they weren't. They kind of said it as in focusing on the business, but it was about a friendship group and marriages. Welcome, shalom. Yep. But I think that right now, I think it's where it's supposed to be. It created a life of its own. It did. But don't you think that how they're filming it now is different from how it was a couple of years ago? I think the drag energy is Martell, to be honest. Hold on. Ari has been recorded so many times by YouTube bloggers. She put it on the platform for sure. Black excellence is not this fleeting thing that happens once every 20 years. It's literally every day. It's in your life, it's in my life, your neighbor's life, child. There's so many things that Black people do every single solitary day of the week. We just have to think about it differently. It's a conditioning, like, oh, these people have to do something a certain way. We don't have to do it all the same way to be excellent. There's lots of ways that we're excellent. Just got to feed yourself the right types of stuff. Thank you, Latrice. I post it every day, but it doesn't get the pickup that I thought it would get. You can it's crazy. You can have like 30,000 people say something's not Black excellence, but it only 100 people say, "Oh, I like this post." Um, it makes me laugh, kind of. So we're talking about the folks. But if it takes 30,000 to tear one thing down, why not just look for the right thing? Why would you go to the dentist for, a 5-star steak? That's not what the dentist sells. Goddess said that the storyline with Jalen seems contrived by Kimmy and the acting is poor. Right. The show has a cult following. The show itself has a cult following. And it isn't a bad word, but people take it the wrong way. Yep. All right, you guys. So I've been on for a minute. I'm going to sign it off. We'll see what happens next week with this show, but that's it. Anyway, y'all know what to do, child. Make sure you're following me on all platforms at DYANAROZAY. Hit the like button, share the video. I appreciate all the moderators who came through today. You guys are amazing. I love when y'all come in. Thank you to all of my subscribers and thank you to all of anybody who is checking out the video. Hit the like button, share the video, please, and thank you. All right, I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.